Welcome to Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. Each week, the NI Bullpen will be covering the world of comics, talking to creators, deep diving into some fantastic stories, and much more. Now let's hand it over to the team and turn a page.
And what is going on, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are tuned in to Nerd Initiative YouTube and streaming services for another edition of Turn a Page, the official comic book club for Nerd Initiative. My name is Ken M. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also Nerd Initiative editor-in-chief. To my left, you're right at home. It's in his contract. He has to do his own intro.
Coming at you live and direct straight from the ODPH studios. My name is off the top Nerd Initiative's pop culture connoisseur, Ken, Matt, and Lauren. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And joining us, our usual co-host, but we have the other half of the dynamic duo of Drafts and Dialogue, bringing you that pop culture information you need to know each and every week. It's Matt and it's Lauren from Hops Geeks News. Guys,
the crowd goes mild. Everybody has a nice big Captain America shield in their background, and I've just got little Cap. Don't worry, I got little Cap.
He's got portable Cap.
I've got, my Cap could do many things, like save the entire Lego universe I've got behind me. My God.
Yes.
I mean, he always gets tiny hiding behind his shield, so
That's true. It is.
Little caps matter too.
Yeah, little Cap matters because obviously it's July 4th week here in the United States. So everybody that's out celebrating this weekend, please be safe and please be smart.
Happy belated Canada Day too, eh?
Yes.
Indeed.
I'm a big Canada guy here, so.
Yes.
Well,
so
yeah.
we thought for this week we would do a Captain America story. And I thought, why not go into one of my favorite runs? And one that I think is a little slept on these days because Ed Brubaker, his run of Captain America has really eclipsed a lot of the current comic audience. Obviously, when you bring back Bucky Barnes and make it work, you've done something right. Like, let us not forget, it was one of the sacred three that you don't bring back from the dead, and let alone he pulled it off masterfully. So I wanted to go back to an era that a lot of people don't maybe remember, so to speak, but it's one that really stood out to me, and that is Captain America #1 from 1998. Now, this is a very interesting issue in itself because this comes off the heels of Heroes Reborn. So if anybody is not familiar with, when Onslaught came in and took out the Avengers, took out Fantastic Four and Iron Man, they wound up going into a pocket universe that was helmed up by Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee. So the Avengers and Fantastic Four were all considered dead. They were doing their own universe. When it came time to come back, everybody got new creative teams. And at this point, Waid and Garney were already on their own run. They took over for the late Mark Grenwald, and obviously who ended his amazing run. I say, obviously, if anybody has read Grenwald stuff, like he redefined Captain America in the heroic age. So when Waid and Garney took over, they really put a lot of the espionage, a lot of the action back into superhero, and really took the character into a lot of different directions. So when it came time to come back from Heroes Reborn, they came back, and boy, did they ever come back with a vengeance on this. So that being said, tonight we're going to be talking about Captain America #1 from 1998, Marvel Comics. So let us get into the spoiler-free statement. We're going to do the deep dive into everything about this book, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then give our grades at the end. So chat, super chat, wherever you're watching us, we need you to do one thing first before we get this party started, and that is what we like to call the homework assignment. You want to make sure that you hit that subscribe button for Nerd Initiative YouTube, because there is exclusive content that is coming there that is not going to appear on any other platform. So you want to hit that subscribe button, tap the bell notification to let you know at home when shows like Turn a Page, Wrestling Night Live, TV Talk are all going to be appearing.
That's my show.
And you want to make sure you tap that thumbs up to let our boss Michael know that you love what you're seeing on the home of pop culture positivity.
Yes.
And for anything else that would require, nerdinitiative.com. But let's get into this spoiler-free statement. Tom, Matt, Lauren, this is
in a world
this.
Where Captain America was thought to be dead.
Again.
And again.
Yes.
He shows up in a post-World War II Japan, confused, wrought with despair. Why doesn't anybody believe me who I am? What is going on? I must chase these bad guys. They are not doing good. Lady Deathstrike appears. She must prove that the anti-West imperialist must leave Japan, and it is up to one man. His name is Steve Rogers to uncover this plot, foil it, and save the day.
Well played, sir. I was going to say spoiler-free statement. That definitely works.
I don't know what happened. It just came over me. It's weird. It felt patriotic.
It's the power of Captain America. It overwhelms it. So that being said, Lauren, what was your spoiler-free statement about this book?
I absolutely loved it. It's true Steve Rogers. And I thought what was really interesting is it's a story we can't get today because we have cell phones and we have comms, and like this could have never happened. He could have immediately today contacted the Avengers and somebody could have come and scooped him up. So I thought it was
Called
really
an Uber.
Yeah, can I borrow your cell phone? Perfect, thanks. End of story. It's like Walter White. If we had a healthcare, paid for. Oh, I have to sell meth to save my family. No, you don't. It's all paid for. Oh, perfect, thanks. The end. So I thought it was a really cool story. I love going back and seeing like how these stories couldn't happen today and how they unfold. And it was also very interesting to see the villain story. So I really loved that. I'm excited to talk about it. I need to read more Captain America. I do not read enough Captain America.
Yeah.
Well
same.
said. Tom?
Big. It was a big issue. That's all I can say. It every single page was big, but it wasn't overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so well done. It was big, aside from Matt's whole whatever he just did.
I bet it felt
And-
huge in those hands.
You're
There
all
was-
bigger in Japan.
There was even a big statue.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is. We have a
Big,
big
yeah.
statue. We have Lady Deathstrike's long, big claws. Just saying. This is.
Oh,
big.
yeah. No, everything about this comes big. I mean, to go through the credit scene too here, because with the creative team that goes here, and like I said, anything Waid and Garney have done really set a high bar. And just even this, spread out cover they did for it, which is perfect for the hero's return. And that's a big moment that they were trying to really push here, because as crazy as it sounds, and I say this often when we talk about anything non-X-Men, there was a time in Marvel that the Avengers storyline was not exactly the biggest thing at Marvel. It was almost like an afterthought. So to see somebody come in and really inject some life into the character, because let's face it, he's been around since the time of World War II, it was really a challenge to make him really stand out, especially in this day and age. Like I say, 1998 was all X-Men. So to see Cap really rise to, like a level of just creative, prominence, I guess would be the easiest word. This was really fun. Mm-hmm. So like I say, this whole run just reignited the fandom in me for Captain America. He's my number 2 hero behind Spider-Man and Marvel. So I was absolutely all in about this, and to see where Waid and Garney took this character, absolutely amazing.
I think he likes it. I'm just enjoying watching you. And
Actually,
I'm enjoying watching Tom watching Ken.
This has been a long time. Like, you can tell Ken enjoys this because, you get the glow about you, man.
I guess this
nice
is his
lights
Power
that
Rangers
they have on you, but
yeah,
you got this air about you. I'm liking this energy.
Well, like I say, I try maintaining a level fandom, but in this, reading this just brought me back to when I was like, I always grew up, and like I said, I loved Grunwell's run too, and just to see where Waid and Garney took the character, I was like, it was really a time for me when I was really, honing in on what books I really liked and like what really stood out. And with this, really made me become a Mark Waid fan, and to see where Waid is now on arguably some of the biggest superhero books on the planet, which we will get into a little later in the show.
Yes,
this took me back, and just seeing the pairing here too, because this was all big action, big suspense, big everything, and this felt like almost like a precursor to what we see with the MCU. Like, this really felt like a movie unfolding in front of us that we could see. So even as we, go right ahead, Lauren. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say there was a part that I almost felt like was pulled out of the Captain America movie, but it took place before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
For
me, I got the vibe more like Earth's Mightiest Heroes when that run, and there came a day, unlike any other, that's where I wasn't. And I think that the Earth's Mightiest Heroes series was definitely heavily influenced by Mark Waid's run.
Oh, I would say so.
Oh God,
I'm with you, Tom.
So much better than Avengers Assemble. Just saying, but I will take all Marvel cartoons. Just saying.
Actually, Lauren thought this felt more like a movie, or you guys did. I'm with Tom. I was getting like the Earth's Mightiest Heroes vibe from this, the way it's drawn, the way it's colored, just like the cinematic aspect of it. It really did feel like I was watching, the cartoon on Disney Plus or something. And honestly, it was fun down to the vernacular, the way Captain America even talks. It was so like endearing. And it just felt like one of those you can shut your brain off Saturday morning episodes of Captain America, but it was leading to something bigger. You got the Fantastic Four appearance in this even at a period, and you're just like, oh, I know them. And there's many different like just little things that they threw in there that it was really good.
Yeah, like I say, just everything about this whole like era. Just if you were a fan of those teams before Onslaught, you came back and you're even more deeper into the fandom.
Yeah.
So that being said, let us get into the book, and we'll just kind of open up with the first art that we see here. And this really kind of sets the tone, because obviously being over in Japan, starting off, it really influences like where the story is going, because obviously this is something for Cap that you see him play out. And it's an area that, just really kind of stands out, that you're not sure exactly what's going on. You're seeing a little bit of disturbance. And we'll start with Tom. Like, what was your take when you're watching this all unfold?
My big thing about this was trying to figure out, and I wanted to bring this up later, but since we're starting off with me, I wanted to try and figure out, who were you hearing in the narrator voice?
I always hear the Watcher if I can't see who it is.
Okay.
Oh.
That's just me. Like anything with Marvel, if I don't know who the narrator is, I just assume it's Watu.
And I fall back to Stan Lee.
Because this starts with Stan Lee Presents.
It does, yeah.
But every time I see a narration, particularly in like the big A-tier Marvel ones, it's always Stan in my head. Just saying that. But it's gorgeous. I mean, you've got this beautiful look over Japan, and you see that, we've got this unbelievable modernization. In the 90s, or, at the late 90s, Japan was finally coming to start to thrive again itself. Being the leaders of technology, but still they are one of the best countries in the world, in my opinion, to be able to balance everything out with all that classic historical elements with modern twists.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, do you guys know what the product was that got Japan, like their kickstarted their economy again after World War II? I got some fun facts for you.
I thought that's Lauren's job.
It was binoculars, believe it or not.
Really?
We brought in binoculars, and binoculars was the thing that kickstarted Japan's economy again. Yeah,
I see what you mean.
I love history, so I'm here for fun history, fun facts,
really?
everybody.
Yeah.
Come for the Captain America, stay for the real life history facts.
Yeah. So then we go right to the next panel. And this is where things really start picking up, because we see, obviously, there's a disturbance, something's going on. And we do see the dramatic entrance of one Steve Rogers. So, Lauren, when you're seeing this, what's the instant reaction?
Well, I was still processing the fact they were in Japan, not the States, and it's some of the most patriotic comic book scenes I've ever seen. But no, it was really cool to see. I mean, he looks like the epitome of, you imagine Captain America, and there he is, even though he is not in the States at the time, nor is he fighting in a war. He's still, he's for the people. Even though he's Captain America, he's genuinely for the people. But I mean, they pulled out every stop to make him look as patriotic as possible there. And I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, Matt, when you're seeing that iconic full page panel of Cap standing there with the fire, because obviously somebody tried burning the flag and he's like, not today.
Well, it's iconic, right? Because it symbolizes kind of two things to me. Like, number one, I thought of the Olympic torch for a second, because it's kind of similar.
I think you're supposed to.
Well,
I felt like that. I felt like that was intentional.
Right. And then Lady Liberty, because that's kind of what it is. But you're right. Lauren is exactly right. I was like, wow, like Japan is very in a patriotic setting. And I was like, this is a weird kind of universe we're in to start, where Japan is like celebrating 4th of July or whatever it may be at this point, with so much red, white, and blue, even more so than we've seen in the States, maybe in recent years. And so I was kind of processing that. And then in comes Cap, throwing his shield, the iconic shield throw, to catching in his hand and just staying there stoic, shield in one hand. He's got Lady Liberty's flame in the other. And I mean, right there is a poster for your wall. Like, boom. It is beautiful. It is so well colored. It's very vivid and vibrant, and has like this shiny. Shiny, this real life feel. And he's very stoic. And in my head, I just hear like a theme song playing, and not necessarily Star-Spangled. Yeah, like Captain's theme song. And you're just like, there he is. there goes my hero.
Yeah. I always hear like the old Captain America throws his mighty shield, all opposed must yield.
Yes.
Like taking it back.
Wow, yeah. And now I gotta interject here. Now I don't think we got a specific place of where in Japan we were. Did we?
I think you mentioned Tokyo.
I thought it was
maybe?
Tokyo.
Okay,
thought it was
so if
Tokyo.
this
For some
is
reason, I thought it was
Tokyo, if this is Tokyo, and they've taken this to this big, huge vibe of Holy Americana Batman, okay, or Holy Americana Uncle Sam, I wouldn't be
Uncle
surprised if
Sammy.
they were in Akibara, because that is the fandoms of fandoms. If you're going to do something to the nth degree, you're going to do it there. So just let's just put that in consideration. That's where you're going to have your cosplayers, your big, huge Super Sentai fans, your Toei, you name it, it's in Akibara.
Fair
Putting
enough.
that out.
I didn't
But
know
as we
any of
s-
that.
Yeah.
That's why there's a Tom.
That's why there is a Tom. But as we see, Cap gets rid of the disturbance very quickly, and he's getting swarmed by fans. And he's really puzzled what's going on, because one thing that they'll talk about a little later in this, he's been gone for over a year. Everybody thinks he's dead.
He blipped.
And he really, there's no lie about it, because Onslaught did that to them. So when you see this all transpire, you're really kind of going, okay, there's a little more mystery behind it. And then before they get into the main story, they drop this amazing piece, a 2-page spread here of Cap running. And like I say, watching this, Tom, I mean, your reaction to this.
It was my reaction of looking at you talking about this book.
Yeah.
It really
My
was.
God, that's Captain America's music.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it just fills you with so much, like, he's Cap. God damn it. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect. It's like a quick introduction for anybody that's a new reader. And I thought they were very smart about this too, because to try getting new readers into a book, and especially if you try doing a rehash, and you know that you got new fans in, especially coming off the Heroes Reborn run.
Yep.
You want to give them some incentive to, like, this is what the character is really about. Like, it's not about the politics. It's not about any of the other BS. It's about the ideals of the nation and what he represents and how he interprets that. That is something that will always remain true with the mantle of Captain America, that Steve Rogers pulls off, Sam Wilson pulls off, Bucky Barnes pulls off. We don't talk about John Walker because that is a whole different ball of wax. I am waiting for that certain spot to come in the chat, but it will happen. But this is what, like I say, when Captain America is written right, you get that sense, and that's what makes him such a universal character, that it's not about all the other crap that comes in. It's about the ideals of the nation he represents. And that's one thing I love about the character.
He's a foundational character in the Marvel universe.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Especially, like, he's the backbone of it. He's always considered the leader of whatever good group there is. We're not talking about the Illuminati one that he was kept out of for so long.
No.
And look what happened. They caused secret wars, nearly killed the entire universe. I digress. But back to the story at hand. So we do see the Cap is going through Tokyo, and to go up to the next page that comes up here, I thought this was such a cool little moment here, because as he's walking through, the soldiers there are kind of talking in Japanese, and they don't think he realizes it. And when he answers them back,
very broken Japanese,
very broken, but to see that go through, it really stood out to me. Matt, what was your reaction to this?
I mean, it's honestly kind of funny to see Cap, like he's on a mission, right? He's so driven and so focused, but he's at the same time like very confused. But he's just like persevering through the confusedness, and something about it, man, is just, I don't know. It's loving, it's endearing, and to me, it's fun. That's all the easiest way I can describe it. It's like, man, this is just fun because I have like hype music going through my head. Cap's like, I'm here to figure out what's going on, but he's also like, what is going on? And I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, Lauren, when you're seeing this too, like, to see that little moment of Cap, because we always see him so stoic, to kind of have like a little fun moment. Like, what was your take from that?
Well, it's almost, it's like Hangover. Yeah, he woke up like, where am I? What's going on? But he still keeps such good demeanor. So it was still perfectly in character for Cap. And I love when he's like, I wish I remembered more of my conversational Japanese. It's like, how many bits of different languages do you think this guy knows? Just because he genuinely wants to help everybody, not just Americans. But it's also, Cap knows what? Cap
probably knows just as much of a little bit of languages as he does martial arts styles. Just put it that way.
Ah, all right. I like it. I'll allow it. But I also love that, everybody thinks he's a cosplayer and they're like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. It's like when you see the famous people that actually dress as their characters walking around cons.
Yeah.
Nobody actually knows it's them.
Yeah, be careful when you see an armorer at any fan expo.
Could be Emily Swallow.
That is.
This is true.
This is the way.
But then we go to the next panel, and this is one that really kind of ties everything together as well. That Cap is sitting there and he's looking at the newspapers, and then he sees some team on the screen, shall we say? So, Tom, when you see this moment, was your reaction to this?
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and the other guys.
The flame wasn't only on in the kitchen.
Look, all I'm saying is, like, I'm still so hyped up about the upcoming movie. So, and after watching The Bear, knowing that, you know, I love the
chef.
So
yes, cousin.
Yes. Which, if you want more Bear talk, obviously this week's Nerd Initiative TV talk.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, shameless plug. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
But to see the Fantastic Four, it adds that whole layer of, okay, something big is going on, and that is very important, especially with the new readers that are coming in. Cap is always going to be Cap. People are aware of the Fantastic Four, and especially right in 1998, because we were coming off the heels of the second season of the Marvel Power Hour. So you did have that cartoon. So it's like, oh yeah, we kind of know who they are, but why are they in this particular predicament? So it still leads to the whole mystery of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And then we go to the next scene, where we do find out who's causing all this little bit of disturbance. So Lauren, obviously being the Wolverine expert of the group, when you saw this character show up, one Lady Deathstrike, what was your reaction to this?
Well, she's not very nice to Wolverine, so that's right where my head went. She's so, you know, creepy in here, because, you know, obviously we've seen her on the big screen. She was done very pretty, but she's so creepy. And when she sticks the finger in that guy's mouth, she just kept giving me the ick.
Ew,
you just
gross.
knew. Yeah, I did not like that at all. But I was going from seeing the Fantastic Four, where I was like, oh, they're just like, you know, God be with you. Good luck. Hope everybody else comes home. Like, they're not actively looking for Iron Man, Thor, Cap. They're just like, good luck.
Yeah, they're really not. They're like, hey, we're back. That sucks that you're not.
Wait,
Right.
Reed Richards is being a dick? What? No.
Well, that's all.
Again, they didn't have facial recognition. I don't really know what they would do.
They have Herbie.
Guys, I have looked everywhere in this house and I have not found him. I guess our work here is done. Well,
yeah.
It's like the Earl video. They search the place high and low. There's another country music reference for you, Matt. But no, they could going from that to them going to, you know, just like pure evil. Like, it was a quick transition. But
did anybody else with like the bowling ball? All that went through my head was who do you think you are? I am.
Oh my God. No, but now thank you for putting that image in my head.
Anybody doesn't know, there's a famous bowler who his reaction to bowling, like winning the tournament, it was, who do you think you are? I am. That's all I think about with Lady Deathstrike's finger in the bowling ball. Like, maybe if she was a little bit better bowler, she wouldn't be after Captain America and killing people.
I don't know how well you can bowl with those fingernails.
Well, she can, you know, at least change it up a little bit, but I still have always considered, as much as Lady Deathstrike's structure, I will say, and, you know, her mechanical structure is done, I've always still considered her a femme fatale. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, if she puts herself together right, yeah.
Well, that's the one thing about her, is that she's such a unique character in her own right. And the one thing I really loved about her appearance here is, at this time, you really didn't see cross rogues come through. Like, you didn't really see X-Men villains come through to fight Avengers. It was more or less Avengers versus Avengers.
Stay in your own sandbox.
Kind of. So when you start crossing rogues, it really ties into the whole concept of it's all connected. Marvel's one universe. And it's one moment that I love seeing, because to see how everybody's really in that spotlight is, you know, a very refreshing thing, because you get tired of seeing X-Men versus Magneto 24/7.
Yeah.
You get tired of seeing Cap versus the Red Skull 24/7.
Right.
You want to see some variety here. And I thought this was a well-placed villain here too, because Cap does have a decent rogues gallery, but to see how the X-Men play in here, and especially what it's behind, because Lady Deathstrike doesn't like what he represents, it's a really interesting concept that you don't think about until you actually see it on paper. I mean, that's how I took it. So super chat, if you've read this, definitely throw your opinions in about this. But I love the fact they did the crossover like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I had only known her from Wolverine stuff. I hadn't known her in any other thing. So,
and I think that the fact that they did it this way is really smart, because instead of throwing in okay, well, Cap's in Japan. Who do we get? Yeah, it makes sense to us to have Lady Deathstrike, but at the time, it is a big thing. But thank goodness they didn't throw like Batroc de Lipel in there or somebody. Just oh well, we need a Cap baddie, so we're just gonna put him in. No, they did it smart. They used what they had available, and they did it well.
Mm-hmm. And I love how Ron Garney sets this up too, like you touched on. I didn't throw the picture up on the screen, but when Lady Deathstrike does put her claw in her henchman's mouth, it is a frightening scene going on. And I love how Garney captured that essence of Deathstrike. That, yeah, she can be maniacal and very cold
and hot,
and really demonstrates that element as it, pertains to the story. But then we go right to the next panel, and to see what is unfolding here is Steve Rogers obviously getting interrogated a little bit about what's all happening, and just really seeing how this is going. So Matt, I mean, let's talk about it. What's your reaction when you're seeing this all go?
It is funny. So as somebody who has been to many different countries, right, you do stand out. You really do, especially as an American. You stand out, and you may not realize it until you're there. So the blonde hair, the pale skin, even if he's in the trench coat, he's tall, he stands out. So clearly they go up to him and say, hey, what's your take on all this as an American? And he's like, I'm gonna do my research, basically is what he says, and I'll get back to you, which is funny. To a news reporter, you're like, I'm gonna get back to you, let me do my research. That doesn't really isn't gonna fly in today's world. But it is funny, and he does stand out, but it's a very Cap answer. He's very I just picture, it's not even Chris Evans' voice in my head. I just picture like this Boy Scouts voice in my head. Like, I'm gonna do my research. Yeah, and I'll get back to you. And it's just very funny because the way the delivery is for me. It's supposed to be kind of a serious moment, but I can't help but laugh.
Oh, it definitely plays in that fact too. And especially where Cap is in there, and the quotes that he's given too is just about what it represents for him and his mantle, and the representation he wants to portray. Like, I am representing the nation, so I really want to make sure that it is the proper vision to come out. And to paraphrase a bit, and I love how he words that too. Like I say, just the Cap speeches are iconic, but like for this one, it's kind of a little low key one, but at least it goes completely in depth to the story because he knows where he is. And like I say, knowing that he is the Sentinel of Liberty, it definitely matters in there too. So like I say, everything about this is just absolutely just perfect for me. And then as we go to the next panel too, we do see a little bit more of what's unfolding here. Oh, we jumped ahead a little bit.
Did Tom jump us ahead a little bit? You wanted to go to that picture?
I think so. But, like I say, we kind of go through for where Cap is getting his big action moments. And then obviously you see where it's all leading to a theater performance, and how this goes into where, Tom, I'll let you kind of take it since you're singing it here.
Oh, no, I'm just doing the song.
But it's a theater performance with a Cap film. And you do see that somebody's trying to unleash some gas on the film crowd. And seeing this unfold, we'll go, Lauren, this basic setup, like how is that kind of translating with you?
I loved all of it. So this was the moment I was referring to where it was like foreshadowing of the Captain America movie, because not only do we have a high budget Captain America movie now, in said movie, there's also, you see those scenes before where they're talking about Captain America and what he went through, and you see the little scenes, and he's opening the watch with Peggy Carter. So I loved that because obviously it's not the movie following, or the comic following the movie. So I love that taste. And then just to have them where he's trapped, he's literally trapped, and his only choice is to go on instinct at this point. He knows he can't reason with Lady Deathstrike, so he's got to reason with this other guy. He's got to read these people. He's got to protect these people because he represents the people, not the Americans, and he's not just for the people. So yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought it was a really cool way to do it, especially because they're targeting Japanese people who are enjoying American culture. So I thought it was all around really fun. And it also reminded me of the scene in Scream where Jada Pinkett Smith is dying and nobody believes her. They think it's part of the show.
A scary movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or The Patriot. I think of the movie The Patriot where they're blowing up all the stuff and like the British ladies at the party. It's like, oh, a show, fireworks. How magnificent.
Yeah.
For me, I got to say this was really fun because for context, I know we've been all super cap. The idea of the villains in here, aside from Lady Deathstrike, is a clan that is trying to get rid of the westernization in Japan, and you do think that they're doing the seppuku as it is, and using the gas to take out the what's the word I'm looking for? Someone put the word in my mouth, please. Insolent people that are like sucking up the American culture. Like that's a lot. That's very it's the Bushido way.
Well, I think that that's where they really want to kind of go with the aspect of the story. Like when Waid came back, is just with Waid and Garney coming in, they really want to kind of just take it to a different. I don't want to say political feel, but a cultural feel.
Yeah,
and I think that they really want to kind of say we're going to do something completely left to center. And whenever you can pull that off in a comic, it's always really great, I think, because this is something that really hasn't been challenged before, and to see it happen in this circumstance too, and Cap's reaction, because he's the center of attention, and it's something that even when the early days, he was the center of attention, being, the franchise of Americana during World War II, he was never really comfortable there. He grew into that role, as we saw even with the Chris Evans movie. He was never comfortable in that spot. So when he's now in this, it's almost like a deja vu effect. I mean, that's how I took it. Matt, do you kind of get the same vibe with that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You can even see it on his face there. It's like that deja vu, like you just said. It's plain and simple.
Yeah. And then we do get Lady Deathstrike coming in because she is all about doing the damage. And this is a screenshot that, like I say, when you want to talk about action comics, you talk Superman, but when you talk about action panels, Ron Garney really takes it up a different level. And just seeing this 2-page spread, super chat, your thoughts on this, I was like, okay, this is game on. And I got amped about this.
I like how they show like her claws hitting the shield. It shows like the sparks and everything like that. And she's calling him an American dog, and she's and it's just like this really cool floating in midair with the color contrast. You got the golds and the reds and the blues and the whites. It just flows really well. And then you see Cap's acrobatic moves in motion, and it's the dodging and the parrying that's going on. It's a really well done action sequence that can be really hard to do in comic books.
Yeah. I mean, Lauren, you're seeing that fight take place. The Wolverine expert, does this really kind of match up to Logan throwing down with Cap?
Well, I mean, Logan's a lot shorter, so he would go a little more. You got Cap is a little bit taller, and he's got the shield.
Actually,
it's actually he's only 5'3". But no, I thought it was a lot of fun. I feel like it's different than Wolvie. I think Wolvie has his own style of fighting because he weighs so much and because he's so little, whereas Captain America is much bigger, and he refers. And if you go to the second issue, I think it was his next issue after this, like they ask, like, what's the name of your shield? He's like, do you have a name for your right arm? He's like, no, I don't need to. He's like, well, I don't need a name for my shield because it's my right arm. So he's obviously, relies on that a lot. So it was definitely different, but no, I can't explain it any better than Matt did. It's a fantastic scene, and they nailed it.
Yeah, Tom?
I mean, Matt already was going on it, but if you really think about it, you break it down, they made sure to make Deathstrike very oranges and red, kind of like the land of the rising sun.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Interesting to see how you put it there. And I love Sunil Milner in the chat, absolutely crushing it tonight. Even said the colors are also super crisp, make the art pop. Yeah, I have to agree. Like, they really made this jump and feel very vibrant, too. Like I say, it just had such a Hollywood feel. And even seeing the sparks come off the shield, that's a little throwback to, obviously, Cap Wolverine. There is a little moment. There's an iconic cover you can go through around. I want to say Mike Zeck drew it. And you see the sparks come off the shield, too, there. And it's a very cool little, like, I touch it as an homage to it. Well, but to see this go forth, like I say, it's just incredible.
It's really hard to, like, make those things, like, you almost hear it in your head, right? When you're looking at the sparks fly off, you almost hear that shing kind of thing, which is very hard to do in comics. Like, action sequences, when you're playing with props or physicalness of it, not just punches, it can be very hard to convey. And so throwing those sparks, it's not even just like the light that streams off. It's at the very end, you see like the actual heated parts of the sparks. It's those little details that make the sound effects for us at the bottom there, as you can see near his fist. That's what adds to it. You can really feel and bring that smell, and it plays on the other senses, which can be very difficult, again, in a comic book to portray.
Mm-hmm.
But the shield still looks perfect.
Of course
Like,
it
it
does.
looks untouched.
Well, that's the best part, is because they did also reference the fact that, she has one of the few elements that probably could beat the Shield.
Well, he even talks about that. He says she's shredding everything except for my shield.
Well, I was going to say nobody beats Roman Reigns except
That's
Cody
true.
Rhodes.
He will be back. I'm waiting for my tribal chief to return, even though my tribal chief is right in front of me. It's okay.
Do you know what they're talking
Appreciate
about,
you.
Lauren?
No.
Okay.
We had to throw a
Pass.
wrestling mix in there because normal
Okay.
wrestling talk is Wrestling Night Live on a special night,
Drop it over the
Wednesday,
top rope.
10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But as we see this big throwdown go down, this is just more action that is happening here with, obviously, we see Lady Deathstrike really challenging Cap and really just being very coy about it too. Like that was something that you never saw her get rattled, that she felt completely in control because she had her henchmen, that she gave the order, you're going to have to kill yourself to make sure this job gets done. And to see his second, pause about this, I thought was a very, very interesting character element. Would you say, Tom?
I think it was great. I also think that it comes down to the way, if you do your homework, Lady Deathstrike, how she was brought up and how she was, she had to be perfect. She had to be concise and clear and maniacal and methodical at both at the same time. So to see that come through in her fighting style, it's on point.
She's tenacious too, man. You're right. She's almost perfect in her fighting style, but there's a very tenacious and vicious aspect to it
Feral.
at the same time.
Feral.
Feral. That's the word I was looking for.
Feral.
There you go. Feral. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had the thesaurus right here.
Well, it's almost like the Wolverine Berserker Rage.
Yeah.
Like you see that.
What's that?
It's like the Wolverine Berserker Rage.
Berserker Barrage.
Yeah. Like you see this, but then you see like how she's reacting. She's buying time. That she's fully like, I'm not even worried about this.
She's
That's
playing
all
chess.
she
He's playing checkers.
Yeah. And to see Cap, who is a strategist in his own right.
Very good one.
Like I say, maybe he's not the Batman of the level, so to speak, but he is somebody that is usually very quick to react. And to see him caught off guard like this, you could say maybe he's just coming back from being in the time warp. You can say whatever, but it is a telling indication of what Deathstrike has pulled off here. Because with all the rising of the Americana, that Cap is still sitting there trying to adjust being, the quote unquote celebrity, that he's caught off guard, that even when he goes into this simple theater attack, he's not at 100% where he usually is. And it's more on the defensive. And
he's definitely on the back foot, and he's just trying to stay up.
Oh yeah, completely. So to see that happen, I really think that's just another little storytelling moment that Waid pulls off like nobody else. I really think he nails this. And then we go to the next piece of art here, and it's still more of the fighting. And like I say, I really just dug this. I think that this whole sequence, and especially when Cap using the super punch, I mean,
through the shield, right in the face. Yeah, dude. I popped so hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is just perfect.
He hit her, all right. First of all, he hit her with a spear, all right, and then he gets her with the Superman. Boom, Roman Reigns style.
Exactly. Like just to see this fighting technique too. I mean, it just pops off the screen. Lauren, I mean, what's your reaction to this?
I mean, I had a very different one than Matt, but no, I thought it was really good. I love again how he uses the shield and punched her, and I also loved like the colors of that one scene where it's like the reddish orange that fades into the yellow, and you can see the other guy who's nervous in the middle. So even though Cap may be playing chess, he's also reading his opponents while he's playing checkers. My bad. He's playing checkers while she's playing chess, but he's playing checkers with his heart and his intuition, and he's reading the room and figuring out, because the best stories I feel like are the ones that you're like, how the hell are they going to get out of this? Mm-hmm. And then when you're surprised at how they get out of it, or you did not see that coming, I should say, that, those I feel like are the best twists at the, to fix the story, to make the hero become the hero.
It also, like, at a certain point, it shows that Cap's done playing around, and he's like almost backed in a corner, right? Because
he pulls his punches, and I feel like he's done. I feel like he naturally does that, and I think that's enough, because he was done pulling his punches, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he just gets to the point, like he knows he has to end this now because there's lives in danger. And that is something that, I think that he understands the temp in the room and time is running out. So to see him go in that direction, I really thought this is Cap 101. Like, he tries ending things as peacefully as he can, but he knows like, okay, I really got to take this up a notch. And I like how he kind of paces himself fighting like this, that, you know, when you see this all transpire, and I love in the chat too, Sons of Milner, pretty sure Kirby based him off Reigns.
I mean, I'm not match, man. I don't know.
I'm not doubting it one bit. But we do see, though, with Cap's shield, he does take a little drastic measure about cutting off the lights in the theater. And this does call for some debris falling down, but this is the distraction that he can't get there in time, because the crosswalk above where the henchman is, he can't get to in time. And Deathstrike is just sitting there saying, by the time he presses the button, you're going to fail.
It's you're going to go after him or me, Cap.
Yeah. That weird head thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like I say, that's just something, you know, a little art technique they want to do is just establishing, you know, like he's whipping his head around trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do? What's the safest play? And he already picks up on something. And I liked how they illustrate this, and we'll get to it in just a sec.
Oh, yeah.
He picks up the fear in this guy.
He's seen that look in the eyes before of somebody who's willing to go through, and that's not the look in his eyes.
Yeah. Like, this sequence of events just really goes up. And I like how they put the stars above it, like almost like a, you know, a bookmark, so to speak.
A vignette, actually.
Yeah. So, like I say, we'll call that shot up in a sec here. So when you see this happen, Tom, like watching him, and he picks that fear up and he gives one of those iconic Cap speeches. Like, what is your reaction to this?
It reminds me, I can't remember what movie it is, but it's the where's my bitch? Where's my bitch? Where's my you're that one. And
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do.
And that's exactly what Cap was doing. You read people, you know, if that is your last resort, that is what you go to. I can say that after many years of hospitality and whatnot, I can pick somebody up real quick.
But even seeing this too, like I say, it's just an iconic Cap moment that he just basically says, like, I know you're not going to do this. And he even calls the bluff by throwing the shield too. And he's like, go do it. Like, and really just goes that extra mile to even just confront him. He's like, he finally gets up to the stage on the platform without shield, without anything, going in completely unarmed.
And that's Cap.
Yeah.
That is Cap.
Like a disappointed dad, almost, the way he's towering over him when he's like, I cannot. And he's just looking at him like
wearing the American flag.
Yeah, like look at the side. Like he's obviously crumpled up, and then Cap's just standing there looking down at him. And it's just like something about that scene to me. It's like there's an air of disappointment to Cap, but at the same time, he's like caring at the same time. I don't even know. And then the shadows on the face there, and the panel right next to it were half the guy's face, and he has a look of terror and scaredness. And they do a really good job conveying the fear and just the size of Captain America and the intimidation factor.
Oh, well, the movie I think is still playing because you see Submariner in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Namor.
Yeah.
I love him.
They throw the old school invaders in there, which I loved. And you're right. I mean, it just seems like he's just towering over him, but it's almost like just to say, like, you're not going to kill the dream.
Look, son, it's more the idea, if you don't mind. Look, son, you tried, it didn't work.
You're not him.
How can we fix this?
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting off of this. It's like, look, we can do better. How can we do better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful scene, but this is Cap 101.
Yep.
Like I said, at his core, he cares about everybody,
mm-hmm.
and he's just saying, like, do better. Just instantly, just, you know, as he's towering down, because he's like, I know this isn't you. Don't try faking. It's not going to work. And then we go to the final sequence of events too, where Cap obviously saves the day. The proper people are arrested.
Who's that man?
And then Lauren, who do we see just make the cameo at the end?
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
The match at WrestleMania just ended, and now we have our SummerSlam match being set as Kang enters, and he's just staring down Cap, even though Cap doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. And especially they set up a little bit with Sharon Carter too, who was brought back during the Waid and Garney run, if I'm not mistaken. So like this all ties together and just really emphasizes, like, okay, one mission has ended, but it's back to business. And especially with Kang and dealing with time travel, since he just came out of a parallel universe, this all plays into the same wheelhouse. And I love how they set this up. And as things move forward, obviously we know that there's a lot more adventures to be had.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Kangs.
Oh,
Donny Osmond, you are not.
Guess I won't quit my day job yet.
Thank you.
Not yet, but I appreciate it though. But that being said, though, we've come to the conclusion of the book. We said a lot of great things about what we saw here. Was there anything that we did not like about this? Super chat, if you read this, throw your comments in here. We love seeing them on screen here. So Matt, we'll start with you. Was there anything you really didn't like about this book?
I truthfully can't think of a single thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been kind of racking my brain as we talked about it too. And this would be the second time kind of, going through it. No, I mean, this captures Captain America's spirit. This captures Steve Rogers. I think the art was so vibrant and shiny, and the action sequences were very lively. I thought the story itself told a really good story at the same time, bigger than Captain America, that transcends Cap. And then the ending there really stuck the landing. I can't think of anything. I mean, please, by all means, somebody else, let me know, because I cannot think of a single thing.
All right, Lauren, how about you?
I really don't either. It's like the Fantastic Four being like, Godspeed, good luck to you. But he was trying to get to the American embassy. He just kept getting caught by people wanting to, be like, oh my God, you look
very
great.
Good, no good
Right.
day.
Right. So, I mean, it does make sense what he was doing. I would like to know why he ended up there. I feel because they obviously got dispersed over different times. So, and I'm sure there's more to it that I just haven't read of, were they specifically thrown in specific places and times on purpose, or was it literally just random? Because the fact that he ended up somewhere where they have a giant statue for him, that's a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I can't remember because I know when the books came back, they were all kind of separated a little bit by release, so it wasn't all at once. So that's a great question. I'll have to kind of dig into that. I'll find out for you.
Right. Oh, I did see. Did you mention what Sons of Mjolnir meant, or actually looked up how many languages Captain America does know?
Every bad guys of ours.
So I thought that was a really cool fun fact he pulled up. So thank you for that. There you go. 7 languages.
You're right. There was one thing. There was no hot dogs. It wasn't patriotic because there was no hot dog eating contest. You're right. 0 out of 10.
Wait, but the guy who wins a hot dog eating contest is from Japan.
Well, he wasn't there, so.
Well, and the one guy just got disqualified for doing
vegan hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in a hot. Never mind. I'll get to that in a minute. But Tom, what don't you not like? Come on, I see you racking your brain over there. You got me worried.
I read this book and all I wanted was a slice of apple pie a la mode, and just to get my Marlboros and my shotgun. And
all right, Dean Winchester, I see you.
Dean Winchester wouldn't smoke though.
All right, Lauren, he's just smoking.
I did like that Kat made the comment about the cigarette ad, being American. He did.
Thank you. Someone picked up on the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is absolutely nothing wrong with this book. It is Cap 101 to a T. You can't go wrong with this one. It brings back the old readers. It brings in the new readers. It makes those people who haven't been reading, now here in the future, want to go back to read those books, Lauren.
Yeah.
It hits on every single cylinder like Cap's motorcycle. The punch just put me right back in 1998, and I'm going to take you for a ride on Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I mean, it really, it's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, there is very little I think anybody would not love about this book. And it's something that if you're a new reader, you can come in fresh. You'll get the concept of Captain America and Steve Rogers and how he is and what he interprets as the mantle of Captain America, being the Sentinel of Liberty. And to see the different interpretations that they do, obviously, it's a very cool factor that they throw in. But I thought Mark Waid's script really set a high pace. It really kept things moving very fast. There wasn't any low point by any stretch of the imagination. It's literally get in and get out, but leave your imprint and leave them wanting more. And that's exactly what they did. And especially with Ron Garney's action sequences. Like I say, when you really see them come to life, they steal the show. And they built up the heavyweight bout between him and Deathstrike.
And the other thing that was really great is because we're finally coming out of the 90s, we got out of the gritty 90s. Like we had really good single cell shading in a lot of things with the big, huge black lines. And again, that's why it evoked the idea of Earth's Mightiest Heroes for me and Matt. And I'm happy to see that. I wasn't a fan of a lot of 90s, super gritty, super, and pockets and patches, Cable and Deadpool characters. So to just get a stripped down story that this is what it is, this is what you got, enjoy it, shut up.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that Waid does very well. Like I say, at this time period, they came back, and especially you wonder too, when creative teams come back, can they recapture the magic? Because when you get down to a certain point and you do a switch up, sometimes you can't just pick up and go right where you left off. Him and Garney did this, and I thought they really bring out the best in each other. Like I say, this felt like an action movie. This felt like a pre-MCU before we got the MCU.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And you could see like where they're going. They're building things up. The run gets even wilder as it goes on. So I highly recommend the run itself. And even the first one that started at Cap 445, I believe. So when you go back to those books, they're worth the runs. They're worth the reads. They definitely go a lot of different directions, and it really kind of flip the normal thought of Captain America on for a 180. And I think they're excellent reads, and they really will sell you about why the Sentinel of Liberty is one of the most important characters in all of comics, no matter who's rocking the mantle, except John Walker.
Yeah.
So that being said, we have to give our grades on this. I have an idea how it's going to go. Chat, super chat. Definitely throw your grades in here. I'm seeing a lot of 10s pop up, but we'll start with Lauren. What is your grade for Captain America #1 from 1998?
I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
All right.
Was I supposed to give it a 10 out of 10?
No. I want to know. I want to know where's the half point?
I'm confused because you had nothing bad to say, so I'm just confused.
Well, they were in Japan and there was no Wolverine.
Oh,
thank you.
The Wolverine factor took it off.
I think sometimes too, for me, it's hard to go that 10. It could just be I had a terrible professor in undergrad that's like, there's no such thing as perfect, so nobody gets 100%. So I feel like I still,
you're right.
I still go there. So I thought 9.5. I mean, that's really good for me. I very rarely rate anything a 10. And also, if I do rate it a 10, it's got to be like very specific to that specific
specific
thing.
Canadian. Yeah, I know.
Specific Canadian. Not everybody's the best at what they do, but some people are the second best.
Wow.
Can I get a plaque that says?
Yes. We'll get that work. We'll get that in the works. Amazing point, Lauren. All right, Matt, how about you?
Don't worry, guys. I'm here to save the day. All right. Ignore my co-host. Sometimes she gets a little fuzzy late at night. Dementia starts to set in. It's a 10, dude. Come on. I don't have a single bad thing to say about this. It is a 10. What more can I say? I've already said it ad nauseum at this point.
Tom?
I'm going to be putting out my Series E bail bonds for Captain America this 4th of July with the big old 10 on it.
Fair enough. So this book, just kind of put a little closing on it. This book coming in a time period where the Avengers were not exactly the coolest heroes on the block. Everybody was rocking pouches. Everybody was rocking leather coats, and still wasn't getting them over compared to the X-Men. To do the big switch up, we had Heroes Reborn, and there were some good things and some bad things about it, and that's a whole different conversation at a time. But to see what Mark Waid and Ron Garney did with the Sentinel of Liberty and really injected some much needed life into the character and took it into a lot of different directions, it was so refreshing to see this issue come out and literally did not skip a beat from where their first run stopped. And to see them come in and really take it up a couple notches, combining elements from the X-Men universe, cameos from Fantastic Four, and giving you a sense of purpose that this is going to be nothing but nonstop action. There's no way this can't be a 10.
Don't forget Nuke.
This is the last time Lauren's ever allowed back.
Yeah.
I just brought down the whole score.
But like I say, this is something, if you haven't checked this out, go to your comic shops, go see if they got the back issues, go check it. It's well worth the run. Trade paperbacks out, I believe, for it as well.
Digital?
It's on Marvel Unlimited. So
I bought volume 1 was like $5 on Amazon for the whole first volume.
Yeah, it's well worth it. Like I say, this is true storytelling at its finest.
That gives us a 9.8, by the way.
So a 9.8 is the
Hey,
final
and it
grade.
was released in
Look at
98.
that.
Hey!
It was all part of the plan.
4 score and 7 years ago, all forefathers and foremothers.
Mm-hmm. So this is one, like I say, when you go to the new comic for New Comic Book Day, definitely go check it out. And especially if you got Marvel Unlimited, it's well worth the deep dive run on. Like I say, this is nothing but magic here, even when they do the switch up for artists, because I believe this is where Andy Kubert comes in. And like I say, they don't miss a beat.
It's Andy Kubert. Come on.
Yeah. But speaking of New Comic Book Day, well, we have reviews dropping in Nerd Initiative because nobody does New Comic Book Day like the Nerd Initiative Bullpen. So reviews are going to be starting 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. A lot are coming out, but we'll start with our picks, and we'll go with Lauren. I know that obviously we're talking about a certain X-Men. There's a book coming out tomorrow, so let's talk about it.
Jubilee.
Nah.
So it's a Wolverine Deep Cut. This is by Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont actually just finished a 5-issue run called Wolverine Knights of Madripoor, which was a spinoff of Uncanny X-Men 268. So this is actually another spinoff that is getting kicked off by Chris Claremont. It's off of issue, I believe, 227 of the Uncanny X-Men. And it is Wolverine's birthday. And if anybody has read any comics where it is Wolverine's birthday, you know that Sabretooth is going to show up and just ruin his day. I love when these two get together. It is, neither of them can die. They both have healing powers. So it's just always a never ending battle. Wolverine thinks he's really prepared for Sabretooth this time because he's dating Mariko. So obviously he wants to keep her safe because Sabretooth can't kill him. So he always wants to kill somebody he loves. However, there is a twist and there is more to the story. And a villain is in the shadows that if you've been loving X-Men 97, then you should definitely check out this comic. And you do not have to go back and read the comics that are over 30 years old, but it never hurts to do that. These are fun little standalone stories that are fantastic little nods to these older comics. And I mean, it's Chris Claremont. I feel like I don't need to say much more.
Absolutely. No, Claremont, one of the best writers of X-Men, like I say, of comics period, but his X-Men stuff is that of legend. So this is definitely one to keep an eye out for. Matt, what are you checking out at the comic shops this week?
You know what, man? I'm going to take us to a galaxy far, far away because it is the Acolyte night tonight. And Star Wars, man, Inquisitors. Issue number 1 comes out. We all know our Inquisitors. What this does, it captures like the darkness of the Grand Inquisitor, his brutality. And then we also have like some Darth Vader viciousness. But at the same time, it gives us that air of hope that Star Wars is so well known for, introducing some elements that just make Jedi and Sith and the darkness and the light and the Force feel larger than life. And the colors are beautiful. They take us to some really beautiful planets. They do some really cool things with like the lightsaber artwork in this. So for me, it's got to be Inquisitors. It's something I'm really excited for. I always loved like this post Order 66 world, which is where this takes place at. So I'm excited to dive more into the mindset of the Inquisitors and how they did business with Vader post Order 66 before A New Hope.
Excellent. Tom?
Power? No, there's no Power Rangers this week. But what's interestingly enough, if you think about this, the book we just did right now, it's kind of theming what I'm doing this week. So we're talking about the white, the blue, and the red. Scarlet from the G.I. Joe universe, from the Energon universe. I am following up, doing all the Americana that's going on here. Scarlet right now is actually in Japan trying to find Jinx. And let me tell you, it is so freaking good. I'm thumbing through these pages and next thing you know, full stop. And I'm like, come on, where's the next one? And I'll tell you, if you really got to get on the Skybound Entertainment is killing it with the Energon universe. And make sure to circle back around. We already did do an interview with the writer of Scarlet. And if this is issue 2, I'm in. I'm down. Like I will take a hard pass on some Power Rangers books for a few weeks just to do the stuff in the Energon universe. I said it and I believe it. America.
Wow.
I mean, listen, I can't argue with that. The Energon universe since it's come out, and I just actually did an article for Nerd Initiative about it's the 1-year anniversary. It's lived up to the hype. So you have not checked it out.
It's been a year already?
Yeah.
Wow. My God.
Since it debuted with Void Rivals, Transformers. Then they went to the G.I. Joe spinoffs with Duke, Cobra Commander. Now in their second wave with Scarlet and Destro. And then we had the big news about what's coming out a little later this year. So definitely something to stay tuned for. If you haven't checked this series out, like honestly, they don't miss. They have not missed about anything in there. And obviously I see Sons of Millionaire, it has some great picks in there. Black Panther, Blood Hunt number 3. Of course, Space Ghost. Shout out to our good friend, David Papos. So definitely that's going to be some stuff to pick up. But my pick, it's ironically something from Mark Waid, but it's not Captain America. This is one of the biggest events that's going to be happening in comics this year. And it's him and arguably the best artist in the game right now, Dan Mora. Absolute Power number
Yes.
1 from
Oh, I
DC
like that
Comics.
one.
So let me just say this. They've been hyping this up for quite some time in the pages of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman,
Free Comic Book Day.
Free Comic Book Day, Titans, Beast World. Like there has been a build for this, and knowing the creative team behind this, there's going to be a lot of people trying to pick up this book tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you are at the comic shops to get this, because remember, DC Comics are now back on Wednesdays for releases.
Yes.
So it's going to be a crazy day at the comic shop with all the releases. And this book is going to be one that is going to have a lot of people talking. So you want to make sure you check that out. And this is actually going to be our lead review tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on nerdinitiative.com, because there's, like I say, there's going to be a lot of people talking about this one.
Absolutely.
Trust me when I say that. If you want even more reviews, seriously, this is the place to go. Nerdinitiative.com. Click on that QR code. Make sure you subscribe to the RSS feed. Bookmark it. Do what you need to, because there's some reviews coming out from Marvel, DC, Image, Skybound. Like I say, the list goes on and on. Like I try remembering them all, but we have so many publishers coming out. It is truly astonishing. But the Nerd Initiative Bullpen does it like nobody else. So if you need to know what to pick up this week, nerdinitiative.com. Make sure to go check it out, and all of the other content at the home of pop culture positivity. So that being said, Lauren, Matt, let everybody know what's going on with you in Hops Geeks News.
Oh, buddy. Well, we just released an episode on Twister yesterday because the new movie Twisters drops the 19th. And then tomorrow we are going to be live talking the Acolyte episode 6 on our Cantina Hour. We are 1 subscriber away from 900 on YouTube. Help us get to 1,000. If you guys could, Hops Geek News, follow the QR code. And then next week, we're releasing an episode on Jaws 3. Yes, we watched Jaws 3 and sat through that monstrosity. So that's going to be coming out. Look at that. And then next weekend, actually, Lauren and I are heading to Europe. So if you follow our social medias, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff from Barcelona, Lisbon, London, Vigo, Spain, La Coruna, Spain. Dude, we're going to be taking this show international and doing some fun content, perhaps at some things on the Mickey boat, whether it's trivia, whether it's just doing a post right out of theater reaction of Deadpool and Wolverine, because we are seeing it together. So if y'all could just do us a favor, subscribe, and then also Nerd Initiative, man, dude.
And we will be pre-recording before we leave, recapping all of the movies that Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine in, and we will be doing a recap of Deadpool 1 and 2, as well as a little bit of comic book origin. And if anybody was watching my reaction a few minutes ago, my husband and my kids just snuck in, and they went to Hot Topic while I was recording and just brought me back this hoodie.
I saw that. I was like, oh,
nice.
Oh. Keep them around.
So I was there with the kids the other day. I was like, I can't spend $65 on a hoodie. Well, apparently they told Dad.
I wish my kids or parents or somebody.
You just got an Ahsoka hoodie from your wife.
You're right. I do have one final pitch. Our Patreons, if you want to hang out with us tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be watching the first Fantastic Four movie with Chris Evans in it, kind of recapping the Fox universe. If you subscribe to Patreon in some sort of way, guess what? We'll all just hang out and watch that movie together and have a good time. 10 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night tomorrow.
Excellent. Tom, what's going on with you and the brand of Off the Cuff?
Well, he's now the 900th subscriber on Hops Geeks News.
Hey!
Did it. My power levels are 900.
But they're not over 9,000.
No, not yet.
So for me over here with Off the Cuff Tom, I am doing all the stuff here with the Nerd Initiative with an amazing amount of people that are just doing amazing work. And I can't use the word amazing enough, but we do have Power Morphicon coming up. I do have some content coming out soon for Power Morphicon. Be talking about some of the actors that are going to be showing up. I've got some interviews coming up. It's going to be a fantastic time. But in the meantime, every single Monday night, it's 8 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time for Nerd Initiative TV Talk. That's why I screwed up last week's intro, because I was on the wrong show. But again, check me out. We're doing the Bear. Obviously, last night was kind of fun because I was running solo, so I can't wait to see who from the bullpen is going to join me. We were giving out names and everything. Like, these two will be my beer sommeliers. Just saying. Because,
yes,
I actually do know what I'm kind of talking about in the kitchen. Maybe I'll throw up some fun pictures for Nerd Initiative. They can, I'll tag them in.
Cicerone.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm doing my thing. Make sure you're following along. That's it. Period. Do the thing.
Do it.
Merga.
Do it and do it well. For me, obviously, anything going on. If you're new to Nerd Initiative YouTube, we love QR codes here. Yes. So that's why you see a lot of them pop up. So click on that QR code, take everything going on with the ODPH. New episodes dropping, reviews coming out left and right. And
now, what are we doing for reviews? We're doing every half hour. So we're starting at 9 a.m. and going until when?
That is a great question because we have more coming in
all
and I'm getting messaged
day long. That's all you need to know.
So I would say this: you want to make sure you hit that refresh browser at least every half hour starting tomorrow, and we'll kind of see where everything goes.
I'm thinking we're going to pull a Dolly Parton and go 9 to 5.
It quite possibly could happen because, like I say, I'm getting message about more reviews coming in. So from the hardest working team in all comic reviews. So we'll have a lot to talk about on there. Obviously, recapping New Comic Book Day, which obviously the party starts Mondays with Comic Concierge top 10 most anticipated books of the week. Turn a page. Then it goes to the bullpen, and then we take it home with the one and only cell phone wallet keys, giving you that weekend pull list. So you want to make sure that you are subscribed to Nerd Initiative YouTube, and you won't miss any of that. Or nerdinitiative.com. It goes that simple. But one show you want to definitely check out on a special night, because it's our guy in the chair leading you in all that pro wrestling talk. And I know the chat popped for it, as you rightfully should. And as it said in the chat,
on,
it's
Lauren,
a 15 out of 10 at the Tokyo Dome is Wrestling Night Live.
Put them up.
Put them up. Acknowledge.
Put 'em up, Lauren.
Right, I don't know what I'm
Just
putting
put
them
one
up.
finger up like I'm
Okay.
doing. Thank you.
So
Where
you
am I
will
supposed
have,
to point?
you just point up.
You point up
Okay.
and acknowledge our tribal chief.
Like
Yes.
church. Oh. Isn't Ken our tribal chief?
Yes,
I
you-
am. But
So didn't I point that way?
But
No,
you
never
can, but no,
mind.
it just won't work. But anyway, tomorrow, a special date and time, Wednesday, 10 p.m. because of the holiday. Rich and myself and new guy Nick will be throwing in something video-wise at some point as well. We'll be recapping, obviously, what went down in AEW New Japan Forbidden Door. Talk about a prelude to Money in the Bank for WWE this past weekend, and anything else that is worthwhile talking in the land of pro wrestling. That's why you got to make sure you sub up to that as well. And for anything else that I might have missed, it's nerdinitiative.com, the home of pop culture positivity. Make sure to check out all the content coming, not just all the comic stuff, not all the wrestling stuff. We have some other stuff that just got figured out that went on a few minutes before we went on air. So I can't even talk about that project, but that is something that'll be coming very, very shortly to Nerd Initiative. Not anybody in the bullpen knows about it, too.
I didn't do it.
I know. So definitely want to make sure you subscribe to that. And obviously con season is upon us. We have a lot of our members going out to different Comic-Cons. I know our guy Sean from Metalcore Nerds is going out to San Diego Comic-Con. He'll be swinging through Turn a Page for a special edition coming up this month. But you want to make sure that you're out and supporting the brand.
We're on vacation.
Oh, he'll be back for that, I believe. But you want to make sure you're out supporting the brand with the merch that you see on the screen. So definitely want to go get a hat, a hoodie, a shirt, a cup, a coaster, whatever you name
Stay cool.
it.
Keep your head non-sunburnt. Do it.
And definitely represent the home of pop culture positivity while you're doing that. And then
I
last,
say it best. Wear your nerd on your sleeve.
yes, thank you.
That's it.
And last but certainly not least, the homework assignment. We give it up one more time. Make sure you hit subscribe to Nerd Initiative on YouTube.
Yes.
There's exclusive content that is going there that's not going anywhere else. So you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap the bell notification to make sure you don't miss anything, and then make sure to hit that thumbs up to let our boss Michael know that you like what you're seeing here at the home of pop culture positivity. I say it once and say it a million times. Nobody else is doing it like Nerd Initiative in 2024.
Yep.
So that being said, I want to thank Lauren, Matt, and Tom for joining me for this edition of Turn a Page. And remember, when you're at the comic shops and you have a great issue in your hands, such as Captain America #1 by Mark Waid and Ron Garney, and you see somebody struggling to find something, hand yours off to him. Tell them turn a page. We'll see you next week.
I'm out.